Hello, geeks. My name is Brian Kui. I'm the founder of medcodinggeek.com. And this is a continuation of the previous video I did um, in regards to the interview um, that I just had. I just had it on Wednesday. Today is Saturday, February 12th, 2022, and basically what I want to do is just go over the interview and talk about my responses, talk about how I prepared right before, what exactly happened. Um, did I say my responses and my thoughts? So um, let's get with this video. All right, so if you're new to the channel, welcome. Uh, Check us out on social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. With TikTok, I've been doing a bunch of Q&A sessions because that platform in itself is doing a lot with a lot of questions and medical coding is rising up in TikTok. So if you don't have a platform, if you don't have an account, I highly suggest it because it's just booming. Another thing I did want to mention is that we reached 1,000 followers on YouTube. So thank you all for subscribing. If any of this video is of interest to you, please like and subscribe for some more because I do have some more topics that I plan to go over in the coming videos. Now that I'm at 1,000, now I have to put in some video time and for you all to view them, and that's what matters the most. But thank you again for 1,000 followers. So I did the video, and the interview wasn't at 9 o'clock. I had to check. It was at 11 a.m. as corrected in the previous video. And what I wanted to do, well, I never had an actual video interview with the computer setup that the company set up for me, but I did have experience in doing webinars, with the pandemic, and I think I did a video on that previously on how to do things like that. So I hardwire my laptop to the internet. I took this camera and I connected to the laptop, and I attempted to set up a sound, the podcast setup that I have with the audio mixer and the microphone, but unfortunately that didn't work out. So I tried to do it before I had to clock in, and I didn't really get a chance to test it until like 10 minutes before the interview. And keep in mind, when I had to clock in that job, I have to do my regular work and then prepare for the actual interview itself. So the interview came. I was there at least 10 minutes early to prepare. I logged in 5 minutes before, and then to find out the microphone wasn't working. So ultimately, I had to use, as they suggested, just use the phone. And I had the camera set up on a tripod so that way it makes me look natural versus trying to look at a computer screen. And I had the phone with me. So the format of the interview, at least for the team leader role, was with team leaders, and there were four of them. Four of them, and each of them had their own questions. So this would be a formatted peer interview, and I've gone through many peer interviews. And again, as mentioned before, my objective in the interview was to, number one, make them laugh. Like let's cut the let's break the ice a bit, make them laugh a little bit with some humor. Especially with the technical issues that I had, I try to make it very lighthearted. Try not to worry about it too much. I know it's gonna work. It's gonna work out somehow. We're gonna figure it out together. Each of the panelists or the four team leads had their own questions, and I tried to answer them as best I can based on what I knew, based on what my experience is. And I wanted to be truthful to them and saying, look, I have a bit of deficiency coming into the team leader role with the systems, some applications, and other things. So that was the first, I guess, the first issue, the first question, line of questions that came up. But I think with those questions, I try to address that. Look, I don't know this certain system because the team leaders utilize multiple systems that they use to review charts. I only knew one because the company at that time, as an auditor, you know, that's all they could give me at that moment, at that time. They couldn't give me any extra due to constraints and so forth. So that's not on them. So I'm coming in with one system in mind that we use. There's other systems that we use. I said I was deficient in, or I used it for a brief period of time, but not an extended period of time. So I don't have really hands-on. There were other areas in the workflow that I was unfamiliar with, but I told them that I was interested in early on, but never got an opportunity to look at it, such as quality and appeal. So I made that known. I think the question that it was is, what are some deficiencies that you think you may have? And I was just very up straight. I said, look, I'm going to tell you the truth. There's no sense in kind of hiding these things because they're going to reveal itself. Let's say if I get the job, I might as well tell you now. And I want you guys to make a sound decision. Another thing, what was it? Oh, yes, Excel. They asked me, what is your proficiency in Excel? I said, it's pretty intermediate. I think just basic calculations, nothing too extravagant. I know you guys mentioned pivot tables. I have no idea what those are. But I said, the company has a lot of resources such as LinkedIn Learning that will allow me to review those and learn. And I think they assured me that they're also learning these types of things. So it wouldn't be an issue to them. That was the first round of questions. And then the second round of questions was more managerial. So I had to explain to them what my manager experience was. And that would be a 1 year experience working as a director in medical records in the jail system, working 5 facilities with over 40 employees 24/7. So I had to just kind of explain what that is. And then they ask the questions. Let's say, for example, I think more like personal questions. Like if you ran into an issue, what would you do? And I explained a personal experience of mine where I accidentally damaged a neighbor's sliding door doing some yard work. And so I explained that I had to take care of that issue now because there's no sense in waiting because if you wait, the problem's just going to get bigger. And I had explained to them that I had to fix all that. Another question was, when did you take initiative without anybody telling you what to do? And I explained to them many things, such as this YouTube channel. Took initiative on that, starting a Facebook group, starting a podcast, learning how to utilize the equipment and doing it on my own, learning blockchain technology. And I think they were intrigued with that when I mentioned that, because when you think of blockchain, you think of cryptocurrency, you think of money, you think of finance. But I said no. There is a technology aspect to blockchain technology that can be applied with the company, applied with healthcare, can be applied with finance, and I think they were very intrigued with that. And I also told them, look, I told them how I got to this, and I told them everything that I told you in the previous video with the Chinese horoscope and what my boss told me, and they were laughing because I was real. Look, this is how I got here. I don't think I qualified for the role, but I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm stepping up to this role, even though I personally feel that I'm deficient. Um, they went into questions such as, could you describe a time that you dealt with difficult people? And I've gave them a couple of them, such as working with deputies, working with inmates, working with physicians, working with difficult managers, and really the premise is we're all human, we're all people, and we need to bring each other at the same level. Focus on the problem, not the person, remove the emotional component, and just focus at the problem at hand that needs to be resolved. Another question that they did ask mainly was what was my managerial style, and the only thing that I can attest from was back in 2005 to 6. How I when I first came in, I had to individually just talk through with the employees, see where they're at, because the employees of the department make up the team. And I want to make sure as a department head that I'm offering catering to them so that way they have what they need to do their best. And then I mentioned, even though my manager experience was back from 2006. I mean, I've managed Facebook groups, I've done podcasting, I've done education, I've taught students for multiple universities, and those transferable skills can be definitely put into a team. And one of the things that I did mention was the fact of mentoring. I've been mentoring a lot of students in the profession, making sure they have what they need, and I'm not even getting paid for it. It's more like practical experience. Even though you're not getting paid for the experience, you want to bring in the experience that you have done outside of your job. I think I've brought stuff outside of my job, even though I don't have extensive experience as a manager on paper, but the transferable skills that I have done since 2006 can be definitely applied as a manager, as a team lead, and I think they saw that. But I think that's where I ended it off. Or they asked another question, actually. There was one more question I think it was very good. What would you do differently as a team lead? Or what would you bring to the table as a team lead? And I really, I closed it off with this. I said, I want to engage more with my team. I want to make sure I'm mentoring them and giving them what they need. If there's any issues, and even if I cannot fix the problem myself, if I cannot provide you that solution, I will go out and find somebody or find something that I can connect you with that will help you with your issue, with your problem, so that way we can come up with a solution. And I think they like that, because even though I'm coming in deficient, I'm lacking some technical skills, maybe some skills, coming into the role, but I'm bringing in what I have, and I think that's the message for today. Even though you feel deficient coming into the role, be confident in what you have. Don't bog yourself down that you don't have the experience, but bring in what experience that may be transferable, even though it's not medical coding, HIM, or CDI related. Bring that to the table. Show them that is transferable into the current role that you are applying to. And I think that will send a good message to the panel. And I think that was it. The biggest thing, also ending off, is communication. I want to communicate directly to them. I just don't want to be somebody who, even though we're in a remote environment, I try and practice to engage. And especially when you're working as an online instructor, you want to definitely engage with your students. So in the same regard, you want to engage with your employees. And I think that's the key. So again, I made them laugh. I thanked them. Well, they thanked me. They found me funny. I attributed to a couple, things that made me funny. They thought I was a great speaker. I mean, I've had practice for the past how many years? I told them that, and I thanked them. The comedic presence was from Joe Coy. Learning how to command the stage, learning how to communicate with people, identifying, looking at feedback and understanding. Again, look at when you're speaking or when you're having a conversation, you want to look at them. They're looking at you, but really look at them and see immediate feedback, and that'll gauge what you're going to do next. I think that's about it. Oh, yes. So afterwards, they thanked me. I made them laugh. I thanked them for getting me out of my regular work and having a cool conversation with four wonderful ladies. And I think they appreciated that because they know that their employees, all they do is do cases all day. They're isolated in their own office, and that's their day to day. So it's nice to get out of that routine and get into something very dynamic. And I think that's what I told them all about. It's all about dynamics. We want to spice things up. We don't want to get things boring. What else? Afterwards, my team lead got word that they enjoyed my interview, which was good. That was, I believe, Wednesday. And then Thursday, the next day after the interview, I already got an invite for a second interview. And this second interview is scheduled on Valentine's Day. So that'll be great. Let's see what I can do for Valentine's Day to set the tone. I think when you're on a video, you want to set the tone, in your office. The thing is with the panel, they had their blurred screen. They blur the background. I didn't. I wanted to show them where I was exactly working. There's nothing to hide. I wanted to show them my setup, everything. So let's see what I can do for Valentine's Day on Monday. So going into this next interview, let's kind of strategize a bit here. The next interview is with the department head. So there's auditors, there's team leads, which are senior auditors. So I would be promoted to a senior auditor team lead, and then there's, I think, two directors, right? And two directors, I'm not too sure what department they are because the organization has changed. Organizational chart and department has changed, but I know they're directors. And one of them I know that I interviewed with originally. The other one I met in training. So they're great. The same strategy applies. Is making things lighthearted. I'm sure they're gonna ask the same questions, but I think what I'll do is I'll recap. What you want to do is recap how it went with the previous interview, and I'm sure they're gonna get a little bit more serious and they want to get to know, kind of like really finalize, can this guy do the job? Again, I'm going to be upfront and say I don't know if I'm the most qualified for this position, but I am the most motivated in this position to do the job, because my main goal is to get into your data. I'm a data focused professional. I'd like to get in there, find the problems, and see how going through all of that data can figure out what is it that we exactly need to do to get better, because we're not uncovering the data thoroughly. And I think I would do that job because that's all I've done. I've done that in CDI. I've done that as an auditor. Even doing these YouTube videos, just trying to find information to give to you all and present it in a way that is effective. I've been one to just go in and find things and present. I think that's all I do. And if I just focus on that, again, keep things lighthearted. Don't get nervous, because you want to take control of the situation. You don't want them to control you. And I think that's the main component. So that is for Monday. Again, I'm trying to keep these videos short, but I see I'm running a little bit over. But again, thank you guys for watching this video. 1,000 subscribers, thank you. If you found this video helpful, or any of the videos helpful, please just put a like. It helps now with 1,000 subscribers with the algorithm, and gets this video and this channel noticed. I will definitely update you guys, because you're along with my journey for something new or something revisited that I've been avoiding. And I think over the evolution of my career, I think I'm ready, even though I think I'm not, but I think I'm ready at this point. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
medcodinggeek.com